VR tech is moving fast, fueling new breakthroughs in how we experience sensory feedback and storytelling in virtual reality. What are researchers planning to do with VR haptic feedback gloves? And what's the VR storytelling breakthrough that has us so surprised? Watch till the end to find out. First up, who are our researchers? The eggheads at ETH Zurich and the Swiss Federal Laboratories for Materials Testing and Research, known conveniently as EMPA for short, on a new type of virtual reality glove. They are looking to all sorts of technological advancements surrounding the production and management of futuristic materials and technology. The sci-fi wonders of tomorrow, from Star Trek's holodeck to the holographic Star Wars communications of the blockbuster film franchise, are not made overnight. These researchers are slowly grinding away at the nitty-gritty of the physical practicalities needed to turn those concepts from movie magic to consumer realities. ETH Zurich is a public research university founded by the Swiss government in 1854. Its primary focus is science and technology, covering subjects like mathematics and engineering. EMPA is a governmental research institute focused on a wide variety of topics, from health to green energy to reducing pollution and the manufacture of nanoscale materials. Exciting stuff! But now, what are they up to with these gloves? ETH Zurich and EMPA have teamed up to produce a wonderful new VR device, and they're turning heads with how they're producing it. They're planning to build a 3D printed haptic VR glove, which is crazy enough. But here's the thing, because it's 3D printed and not traditionally mass produced, they'll easily be able to scale it to an individual's precise measurements for a tight fit and feel. This is pretty vital for gloves expected to provide force feedback. This is all the object of a 4-year project known as Mini Haptics. While there are other VR gloves right now, like the Manus Meta glove, this is to be made of entirely new materials. They will all be 3D printable for the aforementioned ease of sizing, as well as making it easy to produce nearly anywhere. These gloves will create the sensation of really touching virtual objects. This sensation is going to be achieved by millimeter-wide hydraulics applying electrostatic actuators to the hand all throughout the glove. This is a pretty tall order to achieve. So what will these new materials achieve? The new materials are said to be elastic polymers capable of dynamically reacting to electrical fields. To put it simply, there's plastic muscles that will be able to expand and contract on the basis of electrical signals. Beyond that, the movement of the user's hand within the glove will be able to locally generate energy. This could help control power usage and keep it active. Because the glove's electrical signals will be reactive to movement, they'll double as a sensor that can absorb external forces and put power from them. Talk about a trickle chart! This electroactive polymer allegedly has a consistency like hand cream. Wow, talk about an electrifying lather. You probably don't want it to melt it down and add it to your dermatological routine though. We've got enough microplastics in us as is. According to researcher Patrick Danner, it won't be squishing around like cream at all. It should come out of the printer easily and then remain dimensionally stable on the substrate. This EMPA researcher said. The material has been successfully processed into multiple layers within 3D printers. However, they're gonna need to achieve 1,000 layers to bring their envisioned prototypes to life. 10 layers isn't quite there yet, but we have faith they'll figure it out. Next up, what's this breakthrough in VR storytelling we're so excited about? From Sword Art Online to Serial Experiments Lane, virtual reality has been depicted as utterly perception and world-altering. People have explored what would happen if your real life was tied to your survival in the game, and what sort of transcendent experiences could be piped straight into someone's brain. I think more than a few millennials grew up enjoying Code Lyoko and imagining what it'd be like to load into that other world, with sentient computer programs to befriend and exceptional powers at our fingertips. So with such starry-eyed gazing at the media of old, we could turn ourselves fully to the future with this exciting new breakthrough. And you're never gonna guess what direction it's coming from. You may imagine that we're about to talk about the latest game or app to download, or the fact the metaverse finally added legs, or what's up with the VR chat modding scene. Before we can tell you about this exciting breakthrough though, we need to talk about film. Over to film class. What is rear projection? Rear projection is the act of throwing a projector behind an actor and projecting a scene onto the screen. Like a live film screening they also film. It becomes very meta, but unlike a green screen, it lets the actors be aware of the world behind them that will be displayed. There are two major issues with this. It looks cheap, and it's only capturing a very particular angle that's inherently behind the actor. Actors draw upon each other and the scenery to take in the world. But if you're Tom Cruise in Eyes Wide Shut, walking stoically on a treadmill with a seedy city rear projected behind you, you're completely deprived of either. There's nobody on the street to see. There's nothing on the street ahead of you to latch onto you because there's just a studio ahead of you. This accentuates the cheapness and is part of why the technique was not very popular, even when it was all they had, and why many opted for green screens. But what if that green screen was live? The breakthrough: VR screens. Powerful micro LSD displays can throw up a VR image across entire walls, rather than just headsets. This permits live feeds on dynamically shaped displays that can ensconce an actor easily and give a live feed to what would be on the green screen in post traditionally. From The Mandalorian to The Rings of Power, we're already seeing this technique in use.
Action!
I was immediately struck by just the quality of light
as opposed to a stage with blue screens or green screens, you're immediately in that environment.
Because the second season, they built a bigger volume, it allowed the show to feel all the more epic.
Major virtual reality companies like HTC Vive are involved in this process. VR companies have seen mixed success for their platforms, which are expensive and hard to justify when neck fatigue, headaches, and nausea remain common even across the best models. It makes sense that with all the research money they poured into these devices that often have just a handful of games available, but plenty of already, they're looking to expand their market. Film companies are happy to work with high-end VR companies to maximize the efficacy of their displays for both actors and audiences. A 3D world projected into the world around them creates a filmmaking miracle that helps stars realize these great films we love and real footage can be taken from all over the world without needing to move the entire film production there. We've seen a lot of VR products offered especially for filmmakers, including enterprise-grade suits like Vive Mars. Across film and television, we're seeing a virtual reality revolution that cuts costs and maximizes wow factor. This is storytelling at its finest. So seamless you didn't realize that the trick behind it was there at all, as you got drawn into those exciting worlds while it added quality. Where does that leave us with VR storytelling? For the moment, it shows the leaps and strides are primarily in augmenting commercial entertainment, but the end results are endless. What this means is there's reliable big money being poured from multimedia enterprises into the technology, adding a much-needed cash flow for an industry that has been selling investors hard on payoffs that fail to materialize year after year. While some standout VR games like Half-Life Alyx can tempt a broader audience, the Half-Life franchise is an old man's game by this point. Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out in 2007, millennials. Zoomers do not know or care what that is. So without killer apps or must-haves, VR gaming has stagnated a bit. Most games are very short and experimental, except rather than masterfully crafted, they're basically figured out how to make this work enough for a demo, please pay full price. Mods for and re-releases of popular games like Skyrim and Fallout 4 are the biggest drivers of VR play.
But the cry.
With the world poised on the brink of war, Vault-Tec is reporting a record number.
But me.
Folks, it seems.
Besides the aforementioned, this breakthrough means the visuals and experiences we can expect are only going to grow. VR storytelling is as much limited by the quality of the view experience as they are anything else, and there's no doubt that the primary concern of Disney is how good what they're paying for looks. As we look to the future, we expect our force feedback hands to be shocking us with their 1,000-layer deep feel as IMAX quality visuals bring us deeper into our stories than ever before, sometime in the 2030s. We'll touch base again then to see how it all went, assuming nobody decides it's a good idea to put YouTube on the blockchain. Hello, VR vigilantes, comment on your favorite VR trend and what you're excited to see. Then leave a like and subscribe to keep pumping out this quality content. Farm fresh, farmer guaranteed.